And I'll open up the chat window and we'll be ready to roll. How's everyone doing today? Good, I hope. All right. Okay, that's better to look at. So I'm opening up the chat. And if you want to let me know where you're tuning in from, I'm in Illinois. And what plan you're on. I think some of you knew I was going to ask that question. I already see a hi from Iowa. All right. And then we will jump into instant mockups today. All right, from the UK, awesome. Thanks for taking time to join in this kind of holiday week, the secret week in between Christmas and New Year's. All right, we've got Canada, a couple Canada and Georgia. All right, this is going to be great. We are spanning the globe, I think. Alexandria, Virginia, and more Canada. All right, that is awesome, guys. Let me go ahead and get started. I'll introduce myself. I'm Kathleen Sweeney with BookBrush. I'm the marketing lead and customer service manager here, and I love to show off the tools. And today's session is going to be Instant Mockups 101. So we'll jump in. I'll show you different features and things in the Instant Mockups tool. Then I'll show you a variety of ways that we can personalize them that are very easy. And then we'll do the animated mockups at the end too. So that way you get to see all the things. If you are live with me here in Zoom, you can add questions into the chat and I'll keep an eye on answering those. All right, so where are the instant mockups? Right here in the center where it says choose a tool to begin, you'll click on instant mockups. Now, the instant mockups are on the gold plan and higher. However, there are some available on the free plan. So if you're exploring the free plan or you're on the plus plan, you can test drive the ones with the keyword free. So I'll show you where to do that. So here in the instant mockups tool, it's kind of organized in steps. On the left, you'll see step 1, and you can click the book you want to use. And you'll see some of them are supplied here at the bottom. If you have a bunch, you can click the arrows to shift through. You can also click show all to show all your different books. And if you're using the foldering system, under step 1, you'll see the different folders. You can click into those. So I can click book 1 and I've got books saved in here and I can use those. I can click back out to books. There's a question, can you put your screen in the big window so we can follow? I think that I do have it, but let's see. Are most of you seeing it as a large version? Let's see here. I think it might be individual settings because I did the screen sharing, so you may have an option in your personal Zoom. Yep, and you check your own settings, whether you're seeing like a grid or speaker view. But either way, I'll send the recording out and that will show it in the big screen too. All right, sorry for the craziness. Technology sometimes is tricky. All right, guys, so we'll jump back in. If you have not loaded books yet or you have extra books to load, over in step 1, you can also add them right there where it says drag and drop or click the upload. So lots of ways to get your books in here. So you can choose a book in step 1. So I'm going to click the one that says The Kiss Keeper, and it will outline in that BookBrush purpley color. All right. And then in step 2, there are some filter words. So you can click the different sizes if you want to narrow down certain sizes. You could also click the BookBub ones, which are for free. And then you can also use these keywords over here. If you are on the free plan or the plus plan, in the keywords, you will see the word free. So those are ones that are available for you to give it a try. I see a question in the chat that says, how do I delete a book? So it's not possible to delete the books right here in Instant Mockups, but it's okay. What you can do is delete them either in the My Books page or when you're in the custom creator tool. And so I can show you how to do that when we get there. And if I forget, remind me. All right, so let's just do a couple without filtering anything. We've selected a book in step 1. I'm going to skip the step 2 for right now. And then in step 3, we'll do a couple images over here. We kind of got the holiday theme going. So you can just click. When you click one, it's going to be outlined here. And we'll just do a couple different ones. All right. And then I'll go down to, we'll look at the rest of these too, but just for a quick little look, then I'll go down to step 4 at the bottom where it says convert now. And it does take about 4 seconds per image to download. So don't fire up like 200 of them if you're in a time crunch. That would be the only thing I would warn you about. Now you'll see the progress bar going across. And since we did more than one, whenever you do more than one, it's going to download as a handy zip file. This is the one tool in BookBrush that's compatible with a mobile device. So if you want to do just one, it will download directly to your device as a PNG. So let me click download your images. And then it's going to be a handy zip file down here in the lower left corner. Now, because it's a zip file, I need to click to extract all. And then we'll take a look at this first set. So here's the first one, the next one, another one, and this one. So I love these because they are super easy to use. Look how quickly we just whipped up 4 great eye-catching images. And they're some of the best looking images in BookBrush. So this is why this is our most popular tool. We add new instant mockups each month, so you'll always find something new. And in fact, a keyword down here is new, so we can click and see what's new. And scroll through, and these will rotate. So every 30 days or so, you'll see different ones in here. There are currently, when you narrow it down, 151. You can see at the top. And then if you wanted a smaller subset, for example, in step 2, you could uncheck vertical or you could uncheck horizontal. If you just wanted square new, then you could see her down to 63. So that can kind of help you divide, narrow down and find what's new. When we add new ones each time, typically the old ones are still there. Every once in a while we retire some, but mostly we are just adding. So there are lots and lots available. We also add new ones to the exclusive platinum plan each month too. So under the keywords, when we click for platinum, you'll see there are extra ones. And let me add back in horizontal and vertical. So you can see we now have 351. I'm highlighting this at the top, that are special for our platinum plan. So those are exclusive. So most everybody on gold gets access to, or let me say it this way. Everybody on gold gets access to most of them. Then there are an extra exclusive set for platinum folks, and we add to both of those each month. Now, if you have platinum, you'll be able to tell it's a platinum image because it has this little star. So I'm on this horizontal one here, and you can see there's a star that indicates it's platinum. If you find those on a gold plan, it'll have a little lock button, and that way you'll know it's platinum. But if you like it, you could upgrade to get to that one. Let's see, there's a question that I missed that says PNG is the default, and it is. So these are going to download as a PNG. If you need it as a JPEG, you can do a couple different things. In the custom creator, you could bring it in and then download it as a JPEG if you need it that way. Or there's a free site that we use sometimes. It's outside of BookBrush, but I can pull it up for you, or I'll type it in here. It's PNG to JPEG. I just put it into the chat window, and it's a free converter. So every once in a while, I use that one too. So I don't like to give no for an answer. There's usually a way that you can do it. All right, so if you want to make a second set, what I usually do is click here in the top area and I click unselect all. That way, anything that you previously had marked will be unmarked so that they're not included in your next batch, if that makes sense. So let's come up here. We'll pick a different book. We'll try the Cyborg's Revenge. And then we can try a different filter word. So maybe you want to do seasonal, like winter. So you can choose winter. And you'll see there are currently in this top stripe 288 that are falling into the winter category. And then you can scroll through. And if you see some you like, I'm going to keep scrolling though, so you kind of get a nice look. We'll click a couple of them here. The winter also includes some of those holiday Christmas ones in there as well. But lots of neat different options in here. Suitable for really a wide variety of genres, I think. So I've picked a few here. All right, we'll stop here. I don't know if I did a vertical. Here's a vertical one too. All right, then I'm going to head back to the bottom where it says step 4, convert now, and we'll do this next batch so you can see them. And then there's a question in the chat that I'll answer while we're waiting for these to download. And it says, when you find one of these, is it possible to add text to it? And so that's what I'm going to show you next, is how you can personalize these. So right now in the instant mockups, they are as is, but there are plenty of ways to bring them into the custom creator and personalize. So let's finish this batch by clicking download your images. And we'll pull this up. Remember, it's a zip file, so we will extract all. And we'll take a look at our next batch here. So here's the first one. I think I had food on the brain when I started clicking. All right, so there's that little batch there. And again, because we did more than one, they're in a zip file. Let me close back here. When you finish a batch, you'll just click this stop close and you're set. Now let's do one that's single, and then I'll show you the personalizing next. So when I'm clearing out, I'm going to come up here to the top and click this unselect all. That just takes the ones that were marked and changes it. And let's go through here. We'll find another book. We'll click this cover and we can choose something different. Let's just switch gears and we'll go with summer. So we'll click a summertime one. And I've got my book selected in step 1. And just look through here. I'm pretty much a sucker for anything with a swimming pool. So we'll grab this one. Now I'm choosing just one. So this one we click step 4, convert now. We won't have to extract. It's going to download directly as a PNG. So we'll click download your images. And we have it right here. Now this is the thing that you can do on your mobile device if you want to do just one, and then it's ready to go right to social media. So there's your swimming pool image. All right, so any other questions or any questions that pertain right here in Instant Mockups, and go ahead and type in if you do. If not, where we're headed next will be into the custom creator to look at ways to personalize these. You know, while I'm waiting to see if anybody's going to type in, let me click on this BookBub one here. So in step 2, there are a set of BookBub ones. These are all for the free users and paid, and they open up in a second tab. So you'll still have your account open, but the BookBub ones open up over here. And these are all tiny. They're the 300 by 250 pixels, but feel free to check those out. And then also I wanted to mention there are the 3D versions. So if you just want the 3D standalones, we currently have 153 versions that you can put your book cover in. So lots of different things in here. We've been busy adding these. You can do them in the custom creator too, but it's nice to know that they're in here. The newest editions are down here, some new phones and things like that. So feel free to check those out. All right, so next we're going to look at the easy peasy ways to personalize these. So what I'm going to do is jump into tools. So we'll click in the top stripe to tools, and we're going to go into the custom creator. So I'll choose an ad size, and I'm going to choose a Facebook ad size here. Facebook is already selected under ad size, and when I scroll down here, you'll see all the different sizes and things associated with Facebook. I'll choose a Facebook ad, And then we'll go to the background step. And here's where it gets interesting. Instead of what you might normally do, which is search for millions of free images, you're actually going to click here where it says upload an image. Then the image that you're bringing in is your instant mockup. So I saved these ahead of time on my desktop here. So I'll just bring one in. So this has the instant mockup now as the background. The nice part is once you bring this in as a background, it will be here in your account in saved backgrounds for you. So you won't have to bring it in every single time. It'll save there for you. I like this because you can personalize the instant mockup a little bit. So things that you can do here are change the size. And I like to use what I call the eye icon in the lower right corner. It shows you what's inside and outside the area. So if I were to drag a corner of this and make it larger, you can see what's falling inside and outside the workspace. So let's say, for example, I really like this pencil down here. I can scoot it up to make sure it's still included, or I can scoot it down so that that's not showing. And then you can turn the eye icon back off. So you just click that back and forth to adjust. And then this would be an easy one where, let's say you wanted to add your author website. Click on the left on a text box, add a new text box, and we'll put this in. So we've typed it in. I could bring it down here and set it one side or the other. You're in control, so you get to move it wherever you want to. You can click on the edit text styling on the left and choose a different font. I'll do a tiny plug here for the 1,000 fonts. When you click on the fonts, if you click add more fonts right here, this takes you to 1,000 different fonts. So you can really find something that will resonate with you and your genre or your book cover. I tend to come up here to filter because I like the display and the handwritten. But as you look through, so you can just arrow and see what looks good to you, but you can click and mark them. So let's say the third column, third row, we like this one called Coda. We can mark that one. Then when we close out, right when we click on font, it's going to be here under just added fonts. So it's an easy way to find some new and different fonts. And those are all free for commercial use. So we'll choose that one. I can make it smaller. And then one of my favorite ways to kind of highlight these kind of things are the blank stamps. So if you go in images on the left, you can click images, and there are 3 tabs in here: community stamps, my images, and searchable. So in the community stamps, there are filter words because there's so many. So we can click blank stamps here. And I'm going to use this essentially just as a shape. So we'll use this bright blue. I'm going to make it larger. I'm going to use the eye icon on the right to see what's inside and outside the area. And you probably know this, but you can layer any elements with these 2 little arrows in the lower right corner of any element. So for example, if I want to send this behind the text box, I can click that. And I'm actually going to bring this down. So I'm just kind of using it as a shape. It's not all going to be in the image. And when I use the eye icon again, you can see we've got just kind of that semicircle, but it makes it eye-catchy. So this is all I'm going to do to personalize this one. What I would recommend to do then, in the top stripe, click Save as a Project. That's going to just save it in your account so that you can come back and make changes if you want to. And then when we close out, then we'll be ready to download. So you can go to Download, and you can download that as a PNG, which is what it came in as, or, and this is the example, if you need it as a JPEG, just choose JPEG. So you'll go ahead and click here. So this is how you can add text. I know that was a question. And then also how you can download as a JPEG. Let's see, questions in the chat window. If I upload my own image, does it need to be a PNG? No, it could be a PNG or a JPEG. So that would be fine. And then can you make those shapes transparent? So let's click on the shape, and then we'll come over here to the editing area, and you can adjust the size with the slider, and then the transparency is here. So if you didn't want it quite as intense, you can do that. You could also blur. So sometimes you might want like the look, but it could be a little fuzzy. So you can do that. And then the filters are here too. So while you can't change the entire color, if you wanted it black and white, or you want to just change it with some of these other different filters, it will change the actual color of blue. So it's in here as an image, and it has all those image editing things here. And I just access that by double clicking, and then I could change the size, the transparency, the blur, all those different things. So feel free to check those out. I also added a filter. If you change your mind on the filter, click the X right next to it that says remove filter, and then it's back to the original color that we had. All right, so that's example number 1. We just brought the instant mockup in the background step, and then added basically just a text box and an image. So I'm going to refresh my browser here, and we'll do another one. So I'm doing kind of the same scenario, a Facebook ad size. We'll click on the background, upload an image, and you can see when I click in here, the one that we already brought in is in here for us. So if you wanted to do multiple projects with that, you won't have to bring it in each time. All right, well, let me bring in the next example here. So we've got this one in here, and one of the main things that people mention about instant mockups is that they only have one book in them. So if you would like to show off more books in your series or more of your books, you could bring the instant mockup in here and then add books to the image. So what I'm going to do is come over here now that I have it in here, go to the book template, and since the book in the instant mockup is an ebook, I'm thinking I'll show it as a physical book so that readers can see, hey, you can get both. So we'll choose just the filter word for physical book in here. And there are a lot of different choices in here. I'll choose this one, and we'll add book 2. Takes a minute to load. So when you see that spinning, it usually means something good is happening here in BookBrush land. And I like this instant mockup. It has a lot of real estate up here in the corner. Now I'm going to resize this by holding the Shift key on my keyboard and dragging the corner, and that keeps it in proportion. And by that, I mean, if I would drag the side, it can get wonky. And if that happens on accident, don't panic. There's an undo button here in the upper left corner. So we can click undo and get back where we were. Now, when you're adding more than one book, if you want to be sure that they're the same size, I like to use the centering tools. So down here in the lower right corner, it says toggle grid lines. One click gives you these grid lines, and the next one gives you these movable centering tools. So I'm just going to click and drag, and I'm moving these to the top and bottom of this book. Now I'm going to come back over, choose the same book template, but I'm actually going to grab book 3. Put it in here. And as I bring this over, I'm essentially going to have it touch one corner, and then same deal, hold the Shift key and resize. So that way you can tell, okay, they're touching top and bottom. I know they're the same size, and it's not a guessing game. Now these can also be layered. So you could use these 2 little arrows to send that one behind the other one if you want to stack them. And I'm just adding 2, but you could line up a whole bunch if you want to. Then we'll turn off the toggle grid lines. So again, 1 click for grid lines, a second click for centering tools, the third click turns them off. And then you've got room here for a text box. So we come to text, add a new text box, and we'll just put in great series. And I'll set it down here. And then in the edit text style, the default is always going to be white. Right here, it says primary color, and you can click in here and you can just choose a different color if you want to pick something different. I also love using what I call the color picker. So let me show you that real quick too. When you click here next to this red circle, you'll see a little eyedropper tool. And when you bring it over, it's going to match perfectly with whatever color is in the very center. So let's say we want this color of these curtains. When I click this, it now matches the color code without me even knowing the color code. So you think about it, like all reds and oranges, they're not created equal. None are. You want it to match and complement your book cover, so that color picker can really be a handy tool. Now I'm in Chrome, and it works in Chrome and most browsers, but it does not work in Firefox quite the same way. Now we can also adjust the text shadow. There's a slider over here, and this is one where I think text shadow really helps, because look at the crispness and definition that you get when you add a little bit of text shadow. And then again, if you're all set, in the top stripe, click Save as a Project. And then you can go ahead and download from there as a PNG, JPEG, or PDF. And the nice part about this would be having it saved as a project. If and when book 4 comes along, you can just add that to it and then download again. So it's easy to make changes. All right, so that was example number 2, and I've got more. So any questions, type them into the chat. In the meantime, I'll refresh the browser and we'll do some more. So one of the other things, I have lots of things, but one of the things that people say about the instant mockups is maybe they find one they really like, but it's not the shape they need. So maybe it's horizontal or vertical, and they really need a square because they want to put it on Instagram. So the way I kind of work around that is I'll come in here, go ahead and choose Instagram for the square, and then we'll go to background, upload an image. And I'm going to bring in another one from the desktop here. And so I'm bringing in this horizontal image. I can go ahead and use the eye so I can see what's outside the area. I'm just clicking and dragging. You can also double click and use this slider over here on the left, whatever's more comfortable for you. And we'll essentially just scoot this in here. And now all of a sudden, I mean, if you use the eye, you can see it was horizontal, but all of a sudden you're all set. You've got the square sized image and you can download right there. So if you follow us on Instagram, it's BookBrush for Authors, you'll probably see a lot of the instant mockups, and they weren't a square originally, but we just make them a square so we can post on Instagram. So a couple other things that I would do to maybe add to this to explore the BookBrush features. Under images on the left, we have not looked at searchable. So if you click on searchable, there are 100,000 vector images in here. So let's say we needed a bottle of champagne or a glass of champagne for the sparkle. There's one with a bow, there's one without. So I can bring that in here. Now you can rotate any element with this little circular arrow in the upper left corner. So you can adjust that to a different size. And then another fun favorite of mine, it's in the community stamps tab here. And it's under blank, and it's also under other, is this adorable little corner page flip. So here's what you can do. You can put this in here, and I can resize a little bit, and I can still keep scooting this. So if I need a little more room here. And then you can put a secret message or just something that says 99 cents or like a psst, coming soon. So I can hop back here to text, add a new text box, and we'll just put in 99 cents. So 99, and then a shortcut for the cent sign is Alt 0162, and you let go and it magically appears. So we can place this down here. I'll edit the text styling, and this would be another great time to use the color picker. So we'll click in here next to the circle. We'll choose the eyedropper, and I can come over here and make sure I have that red that I want. And in this case, I maybe don't want much text shadow. But that's just layering this little corner page flip, which we found under images. In the community stamps, it's under blank stamps, and it's also under other. And then we just dropped a little text box in there. And this is nice because this one originally, if you remember, was horizontal, and we're able to use it as a square. So any questions on that one, let me know. I'm not gonna save this one as a project. I want you to, but we've got a lot to go through, so I'll just hold off on that. The cent sign code is, I'll type it in, it's Alt 0162. So you just hold the Alt, and then it's like a keyboard shortcut, And I found that to be very handy. All right, so let's refresh here, reload, and we'll do more. So again, we're going to do a square, but last time it was horizontal. This time we'll take a vertical and make it square. So we'll go for Instagram. And the background, upload an image and bring it in. And I have more examples. I'm not going to get this session done in 30 minutes at all, but I have so many fun things to show you. So hopefully you're enjoying the tips and things. So we're going to make this one larger. I can use the eye icon to see what I've got outside here. And so quickly took the vertical image, and last time was horizontal to a square. This is vertical to a square. And then I want to talk about border on this real quick. So a couple ideas for border. In the editing area, you can use the slider and you can resize. And then this would be a good one again. Change the color. Color picker would be a neat idea. And now we know that it matches. So that is an external border. I also want to show you a neat little way if you like the look of an internal border. So let me take this off the slider here. And I like to use things for other purposes at times. So we're going to add a text box here, add a new text box. I'm actually going to take out the text because I just want the box itself. So when you have a text box, the top section is the text itself and the bottom is the text background. So we are going to go ahead and do where it says border down here, and we'll do my color picker trick so that it matches. And then we can bring this and just resize. So I'm resizing a text box with no text. How magical is that? And we can still change the color if we want to go with something lighter. It moves it on you, but that's okay. And because it's a text box, we'll click out. You've got it in there, but you can also do the shadow on it. So if you want to have that for depth, see how I'm doing a shadow on the text box here? And I love the look of that. So it gives a little bit of 3D. And this is simply, let me use the eye icon, a vertical image dropped into a square. And then we added a text box with no text and put in a little border. So I think that's kind of a fun look too. Again, save as a project and then download as PNG or JPEG, whatever it is you need. All right, we'll keep rolling here. So refresh and reload. And so far what we've been doing is bringing it in as the background. Another option is to bring it into images. So I'm going to do 2 examples of that. We'll do Instagram again. But to get the instant mockup here into the workspace, instead of going to the background step, which we've been doing so far, this time we're going to go to images here. So images on the left, and we'll use the center tab that says my images. We're just going to bring it in as an image. So we'll make this a little smaller and bring it in from the desktop. And add it. I already had it in here before, but I want you to see this whole process. So I brought it in again and I'm clicking. It's taking just a minute to pop in there, or I didn't click hard enough. There we go. Ooh, I clicked it twice. So we'll just delete. And I'm going to make this larger. So I'm just dragging it. If you want to know that it's exactly in the center, you can use the centering tools here. So again, 1 click for grid lines. The next click for centering tools. Now, when you click on the element, it will have centering tools too. So I can make sure it's lined up perfectly in here. And maybe we don't want it quite so big. We'll still line it up. Now, what I think is really neat about bringing the instant mockup in as an image, you can still have a second background. So there's only one background available. And if it is your instant mockup, you won't have anything else. In this case, the instant mockup is an image. So we can go back to background and we can search for something cool like pink roses. I realize this looks more like a peony, but for this example, let me drop these roses here in the background. And I could turn off the centering tools. And I love that you now have this extra depth. So you're just using your instant mockup and placing it on another background. Now, some more things you can do. You can click the background and it could even blur a little bit so that the reader's eye can focus a little more on your instant mockup. And then additionally, since your instant mockup is an image, you can now add a shadow to it too. So we can come over here and you can kind of see that shadow growing. Let me change it to white too. And here's the difference with the white. So just a little bit, I kind of liked the black better. All right, so that's your instant mockup coming in as an image. Save that as a project and then download as PNG, JPEG, or PDF. All right, one more, and then we'll go to animated mockups. So we'll refresh here. I'm going to choose Instagram again, and the same format. I'm going to bring my instant mockup in images. So images on the left, my images in the center tab, and bringing this in from the desktop. And we'll click, put it in the workspace. I'm going to make it larger again. And this time, instead of a traditional background image, we're just going to use color because this one has a lot of nifty colors. So if you go to background and click edit background, if you don't have a background image, you have a smaller set here of editing tools, but we can choose a color. So we'll choose the color picker, come over here and we'll choose maybe the dark blue. And then in the editing area on the left, I'm going to click add gradient. And then we'll also use the color picker again and get this amazing pink color. So I like this because the colors are going to be on brand because we have them matching because we use the color picker. And then we can come over here and let's go to images, community stamps, and the blank stamps are a neat place. There's some hearts and things, so we could add this heart in here, and we could do 99 cents if we want to. So we could go to text, add a new text box. Now again, it's Alt 0162, and I can drop this in here. So that's how quickly we were able to just bring this in. The instant mockup is an image, and we did a colored background. I'm going to save this as a project. And then I also know sometimes folks like to keep the same look and feel across multiple marketing platforms. So in this case, while we have this in the workspace, if we also wanted to use this in a Facebook format, maybe Pinterest, I'll show you how you can do it. Click back to add size on the left. And let's say we also wanted Facebook. So we'll click Facebook. Now everything is still here. We're just going to arrange it in the new space. I'm going to make this really big here. These we could make larger, but maybe we'll just leave them the size they are. Now you'll notice we lost our text box. It's outside the area. It's up here, but it's no problem because you can just add a new one. So we'll go with a text, add one more. And it's relax, I can't type, with a new book. And I'll make it a little bit bigger, edit text styling. We'll pick something a little bit thinner maybe. And then we want it to match. So the all capitals, you can go right here at the top underneath add a new text box where there are two capital T's and just click both of those. And I'll center it. And then I'm going to put it over here in this like colored space. So we'll turn this off here. And then if you want to, with the text box, underneath add a new text box, there is a rotate to the nearest 45 degrees. So you can just click rotate, rotate, and line this up over here. And I kind of like this bit of color at the bottom. If it's not your favorite, you could, we'll resize just a little bit more. Move this up. So you've created the same look and feel here pretty much, but now it's Facebook sized. So we can save that one as a project and download too. And then I'm going to move over to add size and we'll do the Pinterest size, which is vertical. Now, I want to show you a tip here. When I click this one, if I click the eye icon and I can't see all the items, I can click back to the one I had and scoot things over a little bit. Now, when I choose Pinterest and choose the eye icon, I can see all these things. So if I need them, they're there. Now, in this case, we'll put this one in here. I don't even need that text box, so I'm in good shape. I might rotate this here, a little bit more jaunty angle, could be a little bit larger. Hate to lose those chocolates though. And we don't need that one, we need the 99 cents here. And we're set, so we can save this one as a project and download as well. So we just used the same instant mockup, but we're able to put it on multiple different sizes. Let me click back to the projects on the left. If you're in the My Projects tab, you can see all the things you worked on. So here is the Instagram square. Here's the Facebook horizontal. And here's the vertical Pinterest size, all with the same look and feel. So that was super speedy to do, but now you've got them for all those different ones. Let's see, there's a couple questions in here or comments. Somebody said, wow, what a great program. I think so too. The next one, is there a way to assign a name when you save a project to differentiate? So there's not a specific way to name your projects, but you can do folders. So up here under My Projects, you can click New Folder and you could name it. So if you want to name one Pinterest, or you want to name it Instagram or Square or whichever, you could do that. And then you've got these little folders up here and you can just move them into the certain ones. So if I want to move this to the one that says Book 2, I'm dragging it. Now when I click in Book 2, it's in there, and then I can just move it back out. So that's a way to keep yourself organized. When you go back to home here in the upper left, if you're ever lost, go home. So the upper left, all of your saved projects are here handy for you too. And this is a nice way to see like lots of them at once. And I've done some of these other ones before. It's sometimes easier than that skinny little vertical version when you're in the tool. So here are the different folders and things. The My Projects default is for the custom creator, but if you've been working in the other tools, you can click over to those too. If you come in and you're in a hot hurry and what you want to do is work on one of these, you can just click it and it will move you right into the tool with that one in the workspace, so you can quickly make your changes and work from there. This is recorded and I will send it out to everybody that registered when we're done today. So you can watch it again later. I know I'm throwing a lot of information at everybody. And next, what I want to do are the animated mockups. So we will go to the community templates here. And they're in this section called collections. And these are on all the paid plans. So Plus, Gold, and Platinum. All of you all have the animated mockups. So you'll just click on animated mockups. And you've got all of these different ones in here. And these are so super cool. I mean, I want to show you how to think of them even in different scenarios. So this one says Christmas. This one says Halloween, but you can take them and use them for different things. So let's go ahead and click on one. When you put it in the workspace, it's going to have a play button in the top stripe. So you can push play. You hear the sound. And I'll pause it. This one actually goes for 29 seconds and hopefully you could hear the sound. So it kind of has a Halloween theme, but here's the thing. I think it would work for almost any kind of mystery or suspense, thriller, all those things. So you can click where it says Happy Halloween, come over here to the font and pick something different and change the words like don't miss, my thriller as an example. And then of course your book cover, all you're going to do is click the book cover and click swap covers in the gray stripe. I'm going to use one that's not totally thriller-ish, but we'll pop it in there. Takes a minute to load and then you can push play again. Now it's 29 seconds. If you want it shorter, you can click on the background. And this is one that has two things that you need to adjust. So where it says length of video over here in the editing area, You'll say you wanted it just to be 20 seconds. You'll change that. And then you also click down here on the music note in the lower left corner and change that one. And now that they both match at 20, you'll see the play button in the top stripe has 20. So it'll be shorter. You can also add more to it. So if you want additional books coming in, if you want to change the animation that's there, like we can click on this text here. And its animation down here is text 3, but you could change it to something different. Just click, we'll remove this one and click add animation. And when you click see all 100, and these are on all the paid plans, these are organized by first the attention grabbers, and then entrances, exits, and then those special text ones as well. So we could pick, let's call the one called text 4, and we'll try that one. And even in the editing on the text, there's so much that you're in control of. I love it. Its default is for a duration here of 3 seconds and a 0-second delay, but you could set it up to delay for 2 seconds and then have it take like 7 seconds. So it's a much slower entrance, and then we'll push play. All right, so that's an animated mock-up. Now it's got animation and music and video background. So when you go to the download step, that's going to download as an MP4, and then you can post that anywhere that the MP4s are accepted. Now I missed a question up here in the chat that says, is there a way to resort the folders? So I think so. And you'll find the folders in multiple places. In the background, in saved backgrounds, you've got these different ones. And I think I can just drag book 1. Oops, I put it in the favorite folder, which is also an option. Let me move this back out. I was thinking that I could move it to the end. I don't think you can move the folders evidently, but you can stack folders. So under favorite, you can either, while you're in there, you can create subfolders, or you can drag and place them in there. So I misspoke that I guess you can't reorder them. That's a bummer. But the folders you'll find in saved backgrounds. You'll find them in your book templates once you choose one. And while we're in here for the books, I know there was a question on if you had a cover to delete, and this is a place that you can do that. So if I want to delete one of these, I can click those 3 little dots and then click delete book. So that would be a place. It's just not in the instant mockups where you can delete. But you'll see we have folders up here. And in the images, I think in my images, you can have folders up here too. So plenty of places where you can get yourself organized, hopefully, and keep things in order. All right. So I was going to do another instant mockup or another animated mockup for you. And then I'll make sure, I know I went way over. I try to keep these to 30 minutes, but there's so much cool stuff. So we'll go into animated mockups here. And you can see there's just awesome. This one's a short 11-second one. We can click the book cover, swap covers, put the cover in, and we'll push play. So that's what it looks like, and then you can change it. So if you wanted to put in your own phrasing, something about your book or a blurb that pertained to it, you can do that. You can also change the font in here, anything you want to, and then download from there. So I love how much you can personalize these. I also want to mention that you can change the sizes. So for example, this is a square, but if you need it for TikTok, for example, we can go over to add size here and choose the TikTok icon here, and then just arrange it in the new space. So we'll use that eye icon, and I'm going to make my text word wrap. Put this in here, and we can push play. So you could actually create the same one, and I did this the other day, and then have it resized or rearranged in the new shape. So you could have the vertical TikTok, you could have the square for Instagram, you could have horizontal Facebook size, just by swapping the ad size and moving things around in there. And you can add to them. You can bring more books, you can add text, all those things. It just gives you a really great format to start with. I think there's a question that says, how did I get to these animated ones? So here's a couple different ways. When you are in the community templates in here, they're in this collections tab on the left. If you are on the home page and looking for these, you can get to them if you go to community templates here, and you would just go into custom templates. And then you could just go to the all if you want to. So if you want to go into all of them, you could click create new. And it'll route you right here to the community templates again. So I would probably just go into the custom creator and go into community templates, and then you can find all of these collections are my favorite probably, and these animated mockups. So lots of great choices. All right, folks. Any other questions or anything that you would like to see, I'm happy to answer. If not, whenever I get this back from Zoom, then I'll send the recording out. If you happen to be watching it on the YouTube channel or in the Facebook group, I'll check for questions and comments there, and I can answer those in that comment section. All right, so get in there, create some instant mockups, and then personalize them, post them in our group. We love to see what folks are creating. I love to get new ideas. It's so cool to get the creative juices flowing. I love it. All right, guys. Well, that is today's session. So we'll go ahead and stop the sharing.